been making plans to stay, but they're never quite threatening enough. I've been making plans to stay, but they're never quite threatening enough. I've been making plans to stay, but they're never.
We just got our beast of a rental car, and we're following Reg to get our fishing license. He's telling me that it's getting dark at about 9:30. This is juicy. We're gonna go grab a fishing license. We've come a long ways. It's time to catch some fish.
Knew that something was wrong.
Bifurcation.
Never knew the feeling could be so strong.
This.
Needed kisses when you go away, and I want your touch when you're here. Oh baby, please don't leave me begging you after I made myself clear. Oh now, don't you leave me dry. Come on home.
As a species, steelhead are unusual for here. We have a lot of salmon. We have steelhead, the largest wild steelhead run in all of Alaska, but those numbers are around between 7,000 and 15,000 fish. They come back year after year and spawn over again, whereas all the salmon species do their thing and die. It's just a fascinating species for what it does, where it lives in freshwater and in saltwater and repeats that cycle year after year.
Quick change. We landed about 20 minutes ago. Since then, we've gotten a license. We've gotten set up for everything that we need. Where else than in Alaska can you run around with a gun strapped to your chest and not feel like you're going to be arrested for it? It's amazing. I love this place. We're almost completely at our top destination here. It's a 2-mile hike that we've gone. It's taken us 2 hours and 20 minutes to get here. We've dredged snow, and we've overcome just about every element that you could imagine. We have found a few fish, and they're downstream from me right now. There's a pod of about 10 there. Doesn't look like there are any really big fish, but it looks like there are some good fish. I'm gonna go ahead and rig up here. One more cast. Just got a rock, and the only place that it could have been hooked was right there. Whoop. That was it. That was the only place. No other place could I have hooked that rock. Strange things. Weird. Couldn't keep it. Over my limit.
just to find a place where I belong. Thousand faces ask 1,000 questions, but all my answers turned out wrong. So I'll drive through the night until the morning light. I'll pray for
There's a lot of snow this year. There hasn't been a whole lot of rain, and it's been kind of cool up here. We deliberately held this trip off a couple of weeks to try to make it to where we could get up to the lake and work our way back to get to some of the fish that haven't really been spooked too much, haven't been fished for too much. God, it's so beautiful here. Steelhead are very tricky animals. They're literally right in front of us. We saw them just 5 minutes ago before we set up, and they've vanished. You can't tell exactly where they're at from this angle, but this is the angle that we have to take to be able to get on the fish. If we go over here, we're not going to be able to drift right. We're going to drag. That's going to not be a natural presentation for the fish, and they won't eat. I'll tell you something else. You don't want to move around a whole lot, because the fish pick up on the movement and they go for the thickest, nastiest cover that they can get into. These fish are actually, I think they're right here. I can't tell exactly, but I'm pretty sure they're in this area right here. So, man, hopefully I can get one to eat.
Well, just wanna love you, baby, best that I can. Never wanted to be nothing else but your loving man. Stick with me, woman, I swear, won't do you no wrong. Oh, my love for you goes way outside all night long. Ooh, yes, please let me give you what you say that you need. Please, baby, don't you walk away from me.
Sight fishing for steelhead in tiny water like this is kind of like fishing a spring creek on crack. These fish are so skittish, it's unreal. If they're not incredibly deep, you're just not going to really even have a shot at them. That fish should have ate.
As long as you want. Oh, baby, I'm gonna treat you right, no matter where they go. So let's pull up these blankets and make ourselves a nest. Baby, I'm gonna get my love to you. Waiting on the rest. Ooh, yeah.
Wow. Look how big and beautiful that hen is. Golly. Dime bright. Beautiful. I saw this fish go after my fly as it went past her. Quick release. Probably 15-pound fish. She was probably, I don't know, 34 inches long. For a hen, beautiful fish. Dying bright. She probably came in on the last night's high tide. We've flown like over 4,000 miles and walked about 3. Got my butt kicked yesterday real bad by these fish. Well, we just got back to the rig and we've worked our butts off today. We only caught 1 fish and we worked hard for it. I hope that the conditions change pretty soon, but they very well may not. If it stays warm and dry like this, it might be another 3 weeks before the big group of fish pushes in and comes down from the lake. So all we can do is hope for the best and work our butts off and, you know, really try to do better. So we'll just see what goes on. I could say this though, that 1 fish was magnificent. And I did get a bite from another one that was pretty massive, but it beat me up.
And there's a warning about carcasses by the river.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's been a couple of carcasses spotted up there.
Uh-oh.
So there's a bear warning.
Yeah, you can bet there's a bear around somewhere.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been much for them to eat with all this. They generally eat some green vegetation.
They're going to be on winter kill pretty hard right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
They get pretty possessive.
Yeah.
What we're looking at here are a couple of bear prints. From the size of them, they're probably black bear. It's not too big of a bear, but it'd still hurt you if you surprised them. As you can see, we've got bear protection. Some people like spray. I prefer a gun. I just feel safer that way, and you know, it makes me feel better about it. I've never actually had to use it before, and I've been in Alaska in the woods a lot. The greatest thing that you can do for safety whenever you're in the woods with bears is just make a lot of noise. Let them know that you're there. They'll get away from you usually, especially if they've got cubs. The only time that may work not in your favor so much is if they're protecting food. That's a big print. That's a brown bear. That's a big bear. So this indicates something totally different to me. We're on the same trail that a lot of bears are using, and I bet I know the reason why. There was a recent kill of steelhead up here just 2 days ago that some eagles got a hold of, and they tore it apart. There's blood all over the place. They're probably smelling that, and they're probably hanging around there trying to figure out where it came from. Whenever we came back through, the eagles had eaten all of the carcass gone, you know, including all of the roe and the guts and everything. So I didn't really think that the bears would stick around there too much, but they're definitely using this trail. So just we have to be mindful of our situation, you know. This print right here tells me something different. Boom, 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 boom. It's this big versus this big on the other ones. Actually, probably in total length about this big. This is a cub. Probably one of the most dangerous situations you can get into with bears is a sow and her cubs, and this is something to be mindful of. It's not necessarily anything that I would leave the woods for, and it's definitely not going to keep me from steelhead, but this print right here makes me want to be a lot more loud in the woods so that we do not gum around some corner or a tree and run up on a cub, because I mean, if you do that, you're going to have to kill that mom to get her off of you. soon as they see me, they're out. Like, go downstream to the next hole. They come back up, but they're back down afterwards. Okay, the reason that we walked for 3 miles today in snowy muck and all these harsh conditions is for the steelhead right over here. There are about 5 or 6 of them we found so far. They're right off the end of this log, and they're actually in a place that I wouldn't expect them to be for these kind of conditions. Sunny, no wind, just a bluebird, beautiful day. They may be hard to fool to get the bite, but we're gonna cast at them and wish us luck.
Keep on catering you. I ain't gonna do it all day now, mama. Ooh, yes. Away.
Look at that. Oh. That again is the clown ball, basically. It looks like a clown's wig or Rodman's head or the Gary Garcia. I don't know if there's anything finer than this. That color right there pissed that fish off something fierce. He had a great sheltered spot, and I could tell he was real secure about his place. This went by 3 other fish before he jumped out and bit it. He traveled about 3 feet to get it, which is strange for a steelhead. I would have to say that that's probably the give me steelhead of the day right there. But this is the color I think that they're going to eat, so I think we found our pattern. We'll just stick with it and reapply it. The fish didn't move. I jerked that fish kind of out of there a little bit and fought him downstream. There's still a lot of fish in here, so I'm going to try to get another one. If not, we've got another place upstream that we scouted yesterday that should still have a lot of fish on it. So we'll get after it. Fish. Beautiful fish. A good way to keep your steelhead and actually a lot of other kind of fish from fighting you too much whenever you don't have a net out. And this is not really a big fish, so I'm not going to get a net out. is to roll them upside down. It kind of neutralizes or paralyzes them a little bit, but still they're alive and they're breathing. You're not going to have as many of them get away from you this way. Let's let this one go so she can make some babies. See you, doll. Give you an indication of how wrong the conditions are here. This is a Pacific rainforest. This is some of the mold from the trees. Listen. That's wrong. You know, I got into the truck just now and realized I didn't take my bear gun off. I forgot about it. It reminds me of the time whenever I was a kid, about 16, 17 years old. I went on a caribou hunt, and I had a pistol strapped on my side as a bear gun. My dad and I went and ate breakfast at a local restaurant. Whenever I went in there, I forgot all about this thing. It just kind of becomes a part of you after a little while. And went in there, sat down, and realized that I had it on. And became real nervous about it at that point. So I was sitting there thinking, you know, should I take this thing off, or should I go back outside, or what should I do about this? About then, I started looking around, and I realized that my dad was the only person in that place without a gun on his side. And about that point, I thought, I'm in the safest place in the world. But I could actually walk into one of these stores right now with this gun on my chest, and nobody'd think anything about it. It's amazing the difference in mindset here versus that in the lower 48. People are just different.
Morning reality came without any warning at all to hit you like a stone. Fast child of loneliness, another phase to just get through, I guess. But do you want to get through it alone? Just get it out, don't keep it in. It only gets you in the end before you've come alive.
I told you there's some bigger fish in here. If something taps this, I don't know what it is.
Life is hard on second thought. I think it was a hallmark card that I never got around to send. Until you began again to find some peace.
Oh, shit. Really? Got greedy. Just got greedy. Should probably straighten my hook out. Yep, broke it smooth off. Crap. Well, I don't know what I've caught. 10 fish off this hook. broke it completely. That's a hell of a fish. Golly, man. Have you ever seen such a thing? Is that set good enough for you?
You can eat. You want to help net that?
Yeah. Old possum trip.
Yeah. We ain't quite ready yet.
I can't believe you fish for one. I like that. It's that strong, man. So, I got the pleasure of living there for a little bit. I'm gonna come up with terms like that, like poker terms. I call this a water cooler. Oh, come off of that. Ah, darn it.
That was a tricky move he put on you there.
Yeah, that was
Over
nice.
the log. A lot of friends over the years, people that I run into, and it always got back to this river, so I knew I just had to give it a try, and came up last year, and it's just had a great time. You know, what's really cool about this river is you got two different runs of steelhead, and you got the spring steelhead, the chromers as they say, which was really the reason I came up, but you know, we had a lot of fun catching the fall run steelhead. They still have a lot of good fight in them, and what's nice about that, you can see a lot of them in the river. The chrome fish are a little sneaky and light, and they're hard to see, and but the fall steelhead are very abundant. So I mean, they keep, you know, you a lot of action. I fish steelhead in Idaho, and you know, in the springtime, and you get you know, if you see 30 or 40 fish in a day, that was a good day. You know, and if you out of those fish catch 3 or 4, we had a nice time. They don't have the zip, especially in the springtime, that these fish have. These are a lot of fun. You know, really good sized fish. It's just a blast. It's a beautiful river. You know,
have the opportunity to see grizzly bear, bald eagle, moose. Gorgeous river.
So, you know, and it's just the people up here are all the same. They all love steelhead, and you know, it's we've done a lot of walking, trying to find that elite spot. So our feet are a little sore, but it's, you know, we've only fishing 3 days, but it seems like we've been here a week already. All the walking and casting, but it's been a lot of fun.
We're up here at our spot now, and I gotta say, as hard as this trail is, whenever it's perfect, it's still easy enough that people will come up here. The trail is probably 75% open right now, and people, I think, have been tearing this up. We left this hole to rest yesterday, and I think somebody else hit it. I may be wrong about that, but there are not really very many fish in this hole today. We're going to try to catch some of them anyway. But you know, we're going to have to do something harder, you know, to get to where the fish are. We'll probably have to go past the sanctuary here, which is another 2 miles of God knows what. I mean, there are not going to be any trails with that whatsoever. It's 6:51 right now, and it took us about an hour to get up that trail. It was taking us pretty close to 2 hours before the trail was open, whenever we had to walk upstream pretty much the whole thing. So we're just doing what it takes to catch fish. Basically what we got to do is walk about 3/4 of a mile upstream in this. There are some places that we can walk on the banks, but there aren't many. This river's still kind of compressed up here, so it's really good for the fishing. The water's come up a little bit, and of course we've got the overcast day. There is something else that I'd like to show you as well. We've had this rain, and it's done a remarkable thing for the environment here. I don't see any of that same type of lichen that I had the other day. Anyway, there's been probably about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain over the course of the last day and a half, and this stuff is absorbing it up like a sponge, but it's no longer dusty. It's actually still, it's alive. This system is starting to come alive now, and it's because it's designed or evolved, whichever you believe in, and you know, this amount of rain. It takes a lot to keep this place going. There are a few things that make fisheries like this one very unique. Number one, presence of moss in this amount means that this is mainly a spring-fed watershed. In this case, is headed by a small lake, which has a very small acreage of drainage. This means that the water is warm enough to support a lot of life, relatively speaking. Therefore, it will support a lot of juvenile steelhead and salmon. Number two, the presence of river otters means that the quality of this water is incredible. The growing absence of river otters mean pollution. This region's population of river otter is amazing. One could reasonably deduct that the water quality here is also amazing. Number three, there's a glacier growing to the point that it can cut off the water flow from other glaciers to the ocean and reroute it through this drainage. If this occurs, it will immediately annihilate this region's steelhead runs by chilling the water to a near freezing temperature for most of the year. Well, it's 6:15 in the morning. It's drizzly, overcast, foggy, cold. The truck smells of exhaust from the leak in the tailpipe, and I've got a big smile on my face because I think today's going to be the day. I just have a feeling that today's going to be a pretty good day.
what you're talking about.
Nothing. I'm not talking about anything. Oh, it looks like Loch Ness. Well, we're here, and the same type of lichen or mold or plant or whatever it is that I picked off the other day and crumbled with all this rain doesn't really crumble anymore. That's what we needed right here. 300 or 400 yards to go, and we'll be at the very top of this hole. I feel really strongly about it. This is the first time I've actually seen fish in this type of water, which is real shallow slides, which means they're pushing through. Maybe we got a good push of fish. I mean, the river's up a little bit. We're getting some runoff. The water temperature's better. It's interesting to see this fishery whenever it's not fishing well, because I never have before. But it's just the same as anything else. You don't have fish, you can't catch fish. This is a good sign. I'm very hopeful for today. Last time I had to jump on that log and go gorgeous. It's a special fish, you know. Got a lot. Woo. Sorry about smacking you like that. Weather gave us lemons, we made lemonade. Whenever you've got dry, sunny conditions, fish structure, but fish it right. I really didn't do this very well today. I'm using 10-pound test line, and in fact, if I would have gotten into one of the bigger fish, I would have for sure lost it. Thankfully I didn't though, and I got this little jewel right here. Very thankful for this. Okay. They're not there now. There's one. Hey, look at that fish. There are two of them right here. This is behavior that we typically haven't seen. It is still kind of early, but the overcast day really seems like it's making the fish more comfortable about moving around outside of cover. You know, if it's not so bright, it seems like they're just a lot less skittish, and you'll see them crossing places like this, and you really can get an idea of, you know, where they're going to hole up and what the best habitat to fish will be. Plus, you can do my favorite thing to do on this river, which is sight fish. Tell me that's not the most beautiful thing in the world, and I'll call you crazy. Golly. This, my friends, is the reason that you come to Alaska. Big, beautiful spring run and fall run steelhead. Now this is a fish that's either been in the river or in the lake for the whole winter. Beautiful fish. And there she is. Look at this. Alright, get real close on this. Oh, thank you. I'm speechless. I can't even say anything. That's 3 fish out of this stretch of water over the last hour or two. Steelhead, I mean, that's just unheard of. Sometimes you go to, big river systems and you might catch 3 steelhead in a week and be very happy with it. To catch 3 side by side 34, 35-inch fish like that, just ultra bright. It's just amazing. I couldn't ask for anything greater than this. I feel like I've won the lottery. God, this is a fiery fish. Jane Rosy Cheeks. Seems like every one of these fish is a gift from God. You have to work so extraordinarily hard to catch one of them, even whenever they're at your feet. You can't get them hardly to eat anything. That was in a pod of about 8 fish, and that was swing probably 50 or 60 that I presented to them. Man, they're just a tough fish to figure out and a tough fish to get into. Can you believe this? This is the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. My hands have been in the water so much today, getting hooks out of trout, steelheads' mouths, that I can't hardly feel them. Oh, see ya, baby. I don't know how many that is for the trip, but I mean, this is amazing. Man, this fish has ripped all the crap. Look at the wounds on this fish. Oh, his belly right there, look at that. Something just ate him up. See him? Beautiful fish. There was a big woolly bugger in there. Worked very, very hard for that fish. Look how beautiful. Spotted up like a leopard. These little marks back here are from other bucks biting him. Ready? Thanks, buddy. Fish kicked my ass. This fish over here to the right of me is a small hen. We can tell we were looking right at her. She's right back over here again. She's not the fish that I want. The fish that I want is behind her, and he's making a lot of ruckus. He's really pissed off right now. He's a big buck. I think he's a big, mature alpha male, and he's notably not happy. So I'm gonna see if I can't slip something up in there that's gonna make him mad, and maybe make it to where he eats it or defends his territory. If I can cast. That worked. Get this on the reel. I believe this is a hen. Real dark, real colored up. There's that other one right there beside you. See her? In this situation, what I'm going to do is try to get her out of here. If it is a hen. Because I think that there's a territorial buck in there that I don't want to scare real bad. These fish are amazing. Another beautiful spring run steelhead from southeast Alaska. It's an amazing fish. If you've never been here, I highly recommend it. See ya. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's a perfect day. We got massive stinking fish that are pretty aggressive for this time of, well, for these conditions especially. Short sleeve shirt. I can't believe it. I don't know if fishing gets better than this. Just need one more fish. Okay. Now we dirtied this spot up. He's ready. a big, beautiful hen right there. You'll notice that there's a net behind me that I didn't use to land this fish. The reason for that is there was a study that showed that whenever you handle a fish with your hands, it's less detrimental to the fish. It affects the mortality by almost 10%. So if you have the chance, land the fish by hand instead of landing it by a net. This is not such a big fish that I couldn't manage it well enough, as you can see, with just handling it. If you use the net, it tends to scrape more of the protective slime off of the fish, whereas a wet hand on its tail doesn't necessarily do so much damage. We're going to get her back into the water so she can make some babies for us.
Yes, I love what I loved when I left it. I never got sick, and I remember everything that drove me mad. The people were so sad. We all stand up at once. We all stand up at once. Streets are always cleaner. Life is always easier on the other side. So I gotta move the next states. Set to improve my situation. But until then, I think I'll drink myself blind. We all stand up at once. We all stand up at once.
What a battle each and every one of these fish give you. It's crazy. Love this place. Rosy cheeks.
My nose to the grindstone, working these supermarket months just to save up. And when winter's finally here, when these sweltering months have disappeared, I pretend that I will finally stand up. Woo-oo, we all stand up at once. 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 There's this constant shifting of people that are missing, who are never quite settling I can't follow you anymore. Oh, I can't follow you anymore.
34-inch hen. You know, people don't realize it, but these fish leave this tiny little stream in southeast Alaska and range all the way to Japan and come back to this tiny little stream here. It's such an amazing feat, but they can taste their home waters in the open ocean. It's an amazing story to me, and there's There's no fish that equals this as far as I'm concerned. This fish is amazing. Look how beat up that old guy is.
He looks a lot bigger than the other one.
He's big.
Did you measure him or?
He wasn't any bigger than 38 inches. He might have been a little bit rounder, but he wasn't any longer. You think?
It's too late now.
That's why I didn't hang that fish. Son of a bitch. Look at the gap of that hook. That last fish bent my hook wide open. That fish is coming button. You'll notice that I dress a lot differently a lot of the times. It's not because we're spending a lot of time on the river over days or anything. It's that you dress in layers. You'll notice that I've got like 5 layers on right now. As it gets hotter, you take them off. As you get colder, you put more on. Just a second ago, I was wearing 1 layer. Now I'm wearing like 4. You have to really change it up a lot whenever your environment's like this, because if it gets cold, you know, which it could at any point in time, you've got to be able to put more clothing on, and you've got to be able to be dry. Your polyesters, your nylons, your caprilines, all of those things are really going to keep you a lot warmer. So just keep safety in mind, and safety often relates to comfort. This dime bright lady right here is for Skip, because this is your favorite hole. Beautiful lady here. This is number 9 for the day. You know, places like this are extraordinary. The line of work that I'm in, you kind of get into a grind of normal things, and the things that you see makes it to where you feel kind of like it's a godless age, you know? And coming to a place like this, you see how perfect everything works together, and how harmonious everything is. And it makes you think that it wasn't necessarily evolved this way. It'd be impossible for it to be evolved. You know, it had to have been created. So if there was a creator, you've got to think that you've got a soul as well, you know. This place really makes you think about things that you don't normally think about. And it's really, really good for your psyche to get into places like this and see things like what I just caught. It's, man, it's probably the most healthy thing that I could probably do for myself, truthfully, is to come to places like this and to see just how perfect everything is, how big everything is, and how really small I am in comparison to this magnificent place. I feel as though I'm Ponce de Leon and have found the long-famed Fountain of Youth. This is only intensified by the fact that it could all go away with one decisive blow from Mother Nature's wrath. If one glacier grows quicker than what is allowed by natural drainage, if it's fished beyond its natural limits, or if only one of many mining companies are allowed to exploit this land for her gold, copper, or other precious deposits, this El Dorado, this Mecca, this Zion will cease to exist and will be experienced no longer. This would not be accurately defined by the word tragedy. We would need to make up a more appropriate word. think this is also the reason that these fish were dynamited in the 20s. They're maddening. I mean, you could lose your damn mind trying to catch these things. I think I probably already have. Here they are. We're just staying right over here. That's right in the middle of town, right in their front yard. They might have been eating their dog food or something. He held cookies whenever we came up there, but I bet he's just in the bushes waiting to go back in. He's obviously not afraid of people. That makes me very, very nervous about this boat. Wow. Man, I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I lived in Eagle River. We had black bears, and you'd hear every now and then of a brown bear coming into town, and maybe one running through the neighborhood or something like that. But I've never heard of a brown bear eating on somebody's front porch before. That's really kind of scary. I mean, people's children walk around, the roads and stuff.